Have you ever heard the whispers about Codlonar Island? It's a name that echoes in the halls of treasure hunters and history buffs alike. A place shrouded in mystery and the shimmering promise of gold. For decades, the legend has persisted. A massive, untapped gold mine hidden somewhere on this remote, enigmatic island. But is it true? Is there really a treasure trove waiting to be discovered on Codlonar Island? Or is it just a masterfully crafted hoax, a wild goose chase that has captivated adventurers for generations? Today, we're diving deep into the legend. We'll sift through historical records, examine supposed maps, and listen to the tales of those who have tried and failed to find the legendary mine. Get ready, because we're about to embark on a journey to separate fact from fiction and uncover the truth behind the Kodlonar gold. The story of the Kodlonar gold mine begins, as many great legends do, with a cryptic map and a dying man's last words. The most popular version of the tale dates back to the late 19th century, centering around a Spanish prospector named Mateo Vargas. As the story goes, Vargas and his crew were shipwrecked on the shores of Kodlonar Island after a violent storm. While stranded, they stumbled upon an incredibly rich vein of gold, far richer than anything they had seen in the Americas. They spent months mining, stockpiling a fortune beyond their wildest dreams. But the island was not kind. Sickness and internal conflict slowly whittled down their numbers until only Vargas was left. He managed to build a makeshift raft and escape, but not before creating a detailed map, marking the location of the mine with a series of complex symbols and riddles. He was eventually rescued, delirious and near death, clutching the map. With his last breath, he supposedly whispered the island's name to his rescuers. This map, or at least what people claim is Vargas's map, is the very heart of the mystery. Over the years, dozens of versions have surfaced, each with slight variations, each claiming to be the one true original. Some are beautifully drawn on weathered parchment, complete with compass roses and sea monsters in the margins. Others are crude sketches, hastily scrawled on scraps of leather. The most famous one, known as the Serpent's Eye map, is particularly intriguing. It doesn't use traditional landmarks. Instead, it relies on celestial alignments and rock formations that are said to only be visible during specific times of the year, like the winter solstice. This complexity has led many to believe it's an authentic puzzle designed to protect the treasure from the unworthy. Skeptics, however, argue this is a classic treasure map trope. They suggest these maps were likely created much later, perhaps by con artists looking to sell them to gullible fortune seekers. It's a classic chicken and egg problem. Did the map create the legend, or did the legend inspire the creation of the maps? Without the original verified document, it's impossible to say for sure. So, what about Kodlonar Island itself? Is there any geological evidence to support the existence of a massive gold deposit? This is where the story gets really interesting. Geologically, Kodlonar Island is part of a volcanic archipelago. Volcanic activity is known to be a key process in the formation of gold deposits. Hydrothermal vents on the ocean floor, associated with volcanic systems, can release gold-rich fluids that solidify into veins within the rock. So, from a purely scientific standpoint, it's not impossible. The island is, in theory, in the right kind of geological setting. In the 1970s, a geological survey company, GeoCorp, conducted a series of aerial magnetic surveys over the region. Their publicly released findings were inconclusive. They noted several magnetic anomalies on the island, which could indicate dense mineral deposits. But they stopped short of confirming the presence of gold without ground-based exploration, which they deemed too expensive and logistically challenging. This ambiguity has only fueled the fire for treasure hunters. Believers point to the anomalies as proof, while skeptics say they could be anything, most likely iron deposits, which are far more common. With a compelling backstory and a sliver of scientific plausibility, it's no surprise that many have tried to find the gold. The history of Kodlonar Island is littered with tales of expeditions, each more ambitious and ill-fated than the last. In the 1920s, a wealthy British aristocrat, Lord Ashworth, funded a massive expedition. He arrived with a steam-powered yacht, a team of experienced miners, and the latest excavation equipment. They spent 6 months on the island, blasting rock and digging shafts based on a map he had purchased for a fortune in a Bacalli auction in Lisbon. They found nothing. Ashworth left bankrupt and humiliated, a cautionary tale for all who followed. Then, in the 1980s, a team of American adventurers tried a more modern approach using ground-penetrating radar and satellite imagery. Their expedition was cut short by a series of bizarre accidents and equipment malfunctions, which they attributed to the curse of the island. Local folklore, of course, is rich with stories of ghostly Spanish guardians protecting the mine from intruders. These tales of failure and misfortune have become an integral part of the legend. So, let's step back and think like a detective. What is the most likely explanation for the legend of the Kodlonar gold mine? The most pragmatic theory is that it's a complete fabrication, an elaborate hoax that has evolved over time. It's possible the original story was invented by sailors to entertain each other during long voyages. The dying prospector is a common trope in treasure lore. Once the story was out, enterprising forgers could have easily created maps to sell to the hopeful and the naive. Each failed expedition, rather than disproving the legend, only added to its mystique. The failures weren't because the gold wasn't there, but because the explorers weren't clever enough, or they fell victim to the island's curse. It's a self-perpetuating myth. Every new detail, every new map, every new tale of woe just makes the legend bigger and more enticing. However, there is another, more tantalizing possibility. What if there was a mine, but it's already been found and emptied? Think about it. If Vargas's story has even a kernel of truth, he wasn't the first person on that island, and he certainly wasn't the last. It's plausible that a small, secret operation could have located the mine decades ago, long before the legend became widely known. A small team working discreetly could have extracted the gold over a period of years and vanished without a trace, leaving nothing behind but the decoy. Maps and whispered rumors to send other treasure hunters on a wild goose chase. This would explain why no modern large-scale expedition has found anything. There's simply nothing left to find. They are looking for a ghost. This theory is compelling because it honors the core of the legend, while also providing a rational explanation for the lack of evidence. The treasure was real, but you're a century too late. So, after all this, is the gold mine on Codlonar Island? The answer, frustratingly, is we don't know for sure. There is no definitive proof either way. There are no official records, no confirmed artifacts, no geological certainties. All we have is a collection of stories, questionable maps, and the unwavering belief of those who want the legend to be true. The island itself remains largely unexplored, its secrets guarded by dense jungle, treacherous terrain, and a reputation for bad luck. Perhaps the real treasure isn't a pile of gold, but the mystery itself. The legend of Kodlonar Island inspires adventure, sparks the imagination, and reminds us that there are still corners of the world that hold secrets. It's a puzzle without a solution, and maybe that's why it endures. The dream of finding that lost mine is a powerful one, and as long as that dream exists, the legend of Kodlonar Island will never truly die. What do you think? Is it a real lost treasure, an elaborate hoax, or something in between? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching, and if you enjoyed this dive into mystery, don't forget to like and subscribe for more adventures.